You better cherish what you got right now, man. Your life could be snuffed out in a moment of time. Remember Marty Marr, man. Went to the dome, man. Your life could be gone within a moment of time. Yo, the typical Israelite is in the ghetto, man. You heard? Your life could be just snuffed out in a moment of time. You better cherish that loved one that you have right now. You're not promised tomorrow. Within a moment of time, King. Queen, fill this right here.
The typical Jew, he was bred in the ghetto. Cops treat you like nothing to you. How are you special? Stolen identity, we know that they lie. This is my perspective of moments in time. The typical Jew, he was bred in the ghetto. Cops treat you like nothing to you. How are you special? Stolen identity, we know that they lie. This is my perspective of moments in time.
My third eye took wings in a Cinnabub dissonance where whites lie over states, towns, and New York concrete streets within brimstone high-rise, giving Masonic handshakes, claiming former Native American land estates on the Upper East Side, across the Valley of Dry Bones where blacks and Latinos reside, spiritually and mentally demised, inside of ghettos living hood lives, undercover merchants of death, dispatched under the disguise of the Lord, beating, shooting, harassing us for Lucifer. You know who you are. These guns and drugs are for this black on black genocidal war. We must be stupid or just love to destroy our own people. I watch the popo being funded by drug dealers like it's legal in project halls by the cold hearts and minds transformed to commit the lowest form of evil. Your brothers and sisters is trapped, enslaved to lethal pipes and needles, living beneath the lowest form of poverty. We've turned to drugs, bitches, niggas, and sodomy. Lord knows there's gotta be a better life for you, but I see a bad moon arising upon the horizon. There ain't no sunshine. A gun blast after the street talk comes the white chalk and police line. Another black lights lost within a moment of time. Within a moment of time. Within a moment of time.
The typical Jew, he was bred in the ghetto. Cops treat you like nothing to you. How are you special? Stolen identity, we know that they lie. This is my perspective of moments in time. The typical Jew, he was bred in the ghetto. Cops treat you like nothing to you. How are you special? Stolen identity, we know that they lie. This is my perspective of moments in time.
This life is not easy. We be secretly observed on satellite TV by the Illuminati. Satan's secret service and the FBI be watching us from hidden cameras on city streets and within lobbies. Several babies are newborn, but their parents' hope at the new birth just died. Satan grins within a high-rise. The devil abides within Edomite bodies, spying on us with federal eyes. Justice would be served if they had the vision of Yahusha by Hashem, Yahweh Shah. This nation is Satan, standing on squares with masons. They buried my people in shallow graves after 400 years of slaving. But I'm gonna raise them, or I die for my nation that's on a dead level, and compel them to fight for reparations. Dominicans, Hondurans, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, and Haitians all lack their absolute equality and true liberation. Insanity is what Esau gave them. But I'm a brave one, the descendants of a slave son. Until Christ return, I'll take the carpenter's role. Satan keeps plaguing me with temptation of European savagery, but I remain faithful like Job. My people, just don't sit around and talk about it. You're now at the crossroads. Change the path that you chose if you want to save your soul. Some die daily, thus it's time to repent with a new heart and a new mind, because your life could disappear within a moment of time. Within a moment of time. Within a moment of time. Boom! Within a moment of time.
The typical Jew, he was bred in the ghetto. Cops treat you like nothing to you. How are you special? Stolen identity, we know that they lie. This is my perspective of moments in time. The typical Jew, he was bred in the ghetto. Cops treat you like nothing to you. How are you special? Stolen identity, we know that they lie. This is my perspective of moments in time. My vision.
Now you can stop me where I'm lying. This is how we own it.
man. You better cherish what you got right now, man. Your life could be snuffed out. 5 verse 3, for the lips of a strange woman drop as honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is as bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps take hold of the hell. Adultery and fornication. Adultery and fornication has run this nation. The spouse say I love you, but she might be faking. You shouldn't try spirit, now your heart is aching. Your love life hasn't been forsaken. Adultery and fornication has run this nation. The spouse say I love you, but she might be faking. You shouldn't try spirit, now your heart is aching. Your love life hasn't been forsaken. Split up and kick that game. Got your wife's name. When her phone rang, it displayed Jane, a female's name. But hey, that's game. Shattered your heart when you found it was a man. He kissed that dame. Money made your wife naked. She licked that brain. He hit that thing. Let his nuts hang. Your woman's getting banged. Cause you so much pain at the adultery. You bitch and complain. She got ran through. She's divorcing your man. Corporate America hysteria. You knew she was a hoe. Why did you marry her? Beta male, sipping Janus, teeth getting buried, bro. Corporate white guys manipulate lies. Feminism ain't for women. It is disguised as a remedy to emasculate guys on deception and lies. Modern wicked women, second towers in the skies. Husband be surprised when the marriage is a mess from a divorce that she devised. In corporate orphans fought by divorces. These women ain't shit but a jump off. You made a poor choice. You married a whore for dead presidents. She tricked that cat. Stunt 101. Hoes act like that. Son got her in the telly, beating it from the back. Your wife is a thought, like an escort, chasing dead presidents on a spiritual death course. Adultery and fornication has run this nation. The spouse say I love you, but she might be faking. You shouldn't try spirit, now your heart is aching. Your love life hasn't been forsaken. Adultery and fornication has run this nation. The spouse say I love you, but she might be faking. You shouldn't try spirit, now your heart is aching. Your love life hasn't been forsaken. He spit that game, he split your dame. His money got him brain. Educated bitches really lick them things. Smashed until he came. Your women got tours by a fucking lane. While you're sticking around, she's a whore, man. When you hear her name, it drives you insane. You should be driving a best friend to a hotel, man. Revenge is sweet, so do the damn thing. I'm on a different type of time, putting you on game. Thought he was loyal until you saw your husband with that white lawyer. That's why he ordered you to put his phone back. She just act like that, like James Brown. Feel the big payback. Sucking her toes is aphrodisiac. Never home pulling, disappearing act. This is war, so to even the score, your winning got smashed by a corny white boy. Regret it for life. Herpes sores on your mouth. Satan got your soul at ease, so run your life. I'm longing for a husband, got a bitch for a wife. Master P on her. That's his fadage. Grab that hammer. You split his cabbage. Spend your last days in prison getting ravaged. These hoes ain't shit. So adultery and fornication has run this nation. The spouse say I love you, but she might be faking. You shouldn't try spirit, now your heart is aching. Your love life hasn't been forsaken. Adultery and fornication has run this nation. The spouse say I love you, but she might be faking. You shouldn't try spirit, now your heart is aching. Your love life hasn't been forsaken.
I remind people all the time that God did not make the white man, the white woman, the black woman, and then the black man. He made the black man first, and he created all the rest of the people after him.
Proverbs 5 verse 3, for the lips of a strange woman drop as honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. David, tell these young men out here what to do before they get involved in a bad relationship.
Listen up, young ones. You better test her before you bless her.
Jane
high blood pressure.
My pops died, my tears froze because my heart was too cold inside my body. My temperature rose, about to explode when I found my mom's lied to me. Hit the street with the heat on the creek, about to leak the next one that I meet. Bad vibes, Good Friday, about to catch a body, the next one that tried me. You're the one, said Yahusha the son, put down the gun. I cried to the sky and asked why me, that is chosen. What about those ones? Lord knows he doesn't make mistakes. Most people are fake, just pose in church, but each day they sin and say we all make mistakes. Con, I'm talking to Jake, better take heed to this. My mom lied about dad because all wickedness is but little to the woman's evilness. She made you a mangina, it shows in your feebleness. You bend over backwards just to please a bitch. Are you a leader, just a man she want to use to get even with? Evil Eves in this gynocentric bliss. Refuse to submit, but act right until you make her your wife. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, or she will ruin your life.
Better test her before you bless her. Intertwine now, all she do is stress ya. Salty vibes gave you high blood pressure. Better test her before you bless her. Intertwine now, all she do is stress ya. Salty vibes gave you high blood pressure.
Above cloud 9, praying that I make it home to my destination. Submissive rib at the crib, patiently waiting. Open the door to hugs and admiration. No time wasted. I don't see nothing wrong with a little solo demonstration. But what I'm describing is fantasy to be real. Actuality hits when there's no home-cooked meals. No love in the home, so cold can't feel. Arguing over stupid shit, what's your deal? A righteous man enters your life, and all you cause is strife. Lying about small things got me looking at you sideways. Finna leave you standing near the highway.
Better test her before you bless her. Intertwine now, all she do is stress ya. Salty vibes gave you high blood pressure. Better test her before you bless her. Intertwine now, all she do is stress ya. Salty vibes gave you high blood pressure.
Excessive pain, my joys drain from relationships with women against men. Within your eccentric system, she don't understand. Want me to be romantic, I tell her, damn it, I'm the queen of the planet. I'm not from Rome, 911, police raid my home. She was bad to the bone when we met. How could she get me locked up like that? Hypergamy was a word for me. Guess she loved my assets. Bet that. Now I'm a spokesman for men. Am I the last real man left? Last one left. Just say. Ciroc 26 and 7, an evil woman is like a yoke, shaking to and fro. Only bust the rush the guff, then now you're pulled up. Went bad, now you're mad, your life is screwed up. Try to warn you, think it over before you choose her. You should have proved her, about to lose her. Want to abuse her, because I screwed her. Left you scarred and broken hearted, now you're rude, boy. No longer booed up, you a loser. Cause she sued ya, them girl that shoot us. Yo, we used to congregate and build, now she got you booed up. We did this work for the Lord, she got your mind just screwed up. She's gonna toss you like trash when she's done, and you're used up. I'm a spokesman for men, cause women abuse us, falsely accuse us of rape. Word, feminists hate on Jake, but try to take his estate. Told you to leave her, because yo, she was a mistake. Just left court, got divorce rate. He went batal, says all women are foul. Kevin Samuels is gone, I got the throne now. I'm a king, kiss my ring. Women take a bow, I'm masculine and proud. Only bust the rush the guff, then now you're pulled up. Went bad, now you're mad, your life is screwed up. Try to warn you, think it over before you choose her. You should have proved her, about to lose her. Want to abuse her, because I screwed her. Left you scarred and broken hearted, now you're rude, boy. No longer booed up, you a loser, cause she sued future. Them girls that shoot us. She treats you like a loser, told you not to choose her. First join 4-1, means you gotta prove her. Screwed her, then you boot her. My man stepped to her, he spit game, got a name, then he ran up into her, blew her, back out. All night, war life, she's strife. Cause she never told him she's another man's wife. Play this song back, cause you really needs to hear it. Psalms 51 and 17. Broken heart, contrite spirit. Kahan Tazadoctrine, my rhymes be the realest. You got paralysis if you don't feel this. Modest daughters of Zion, it's hard to resist. But you didn't get a Sarah, you got a She did you dirty, but it's still her you miss. Yo, don't cash your ride out for every fish, because you might get hooked in the octopus. See, that happened to my best friend, G. Now like Carol Weathers, he's like, lean on me, because he's not strong. The woman's gone. Rock 26 and 7, an evil woman is like a yoke shaking to and fro. And he'd have hold of her as though he held a scorpion. A drunken woman in a gatter broad cause of great anger, and she would not cover her own shame. The hoarding of a woman may be known by her hardy looks and eyelids. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself over much liberty. Y'all dudes change, man. Y'all here acting like every day Valentine's Day, buying these chicks candy, man, trying to appease to these broads, man. And then, you know what I mean, a one-hitter quitter, you booed up with a one-hitter quitter, man. Stop trying to cuff these chicks, man. They're all into our punching me, man. I told you. Shout out to my man Rashad. I told you, Rashad. Yo, Benai, I'm watching you, King. Hold your head, man. You better take heed to this, man. Khan Tazadoctrine, so you know who said it, man. Stop being booed up with these broads, man. Stay focused on your purpose, man. I'm out. Right, shalom, shalom. My breath, I'm some push-ups.
Shalom.
Sent it to the other brothers, but everybody got their own thing going on. So we're gonna talk about the biological clock in women. A lot of women try to play high post, but attraction has an expiration date, and particularly in women. So all these women playing hard to get, you may not get God. Hold on to your seatbelts, deauthorized representative, because this one's a classic. Come on, Tazadoctrine. This is Tazadoctrine. That's how we want it. So, yes, you got anything you want to say? Before I go into this, we're talking about the biological clock in women. In women, attraction has an expiration date. And you're going to see that there's a vast difference. I've been trying to tell women this. So I decided I was going to speak on it. Because some of them say, well, you know, it's up to God. Listen, you can say it's up to anything. Biologically, after your mid-20s, your fertility begins to decline. When you hit 35, it declines rapidly. By 37, it declines with the super swiftness.
Yep.
And so you say, well, how did Janet Jackson get pregnant? When you see these celebrities in their late 40s, early 50s getting pregnant, they usually have a donor's egg. And what I mean by that, they paid a younger woman to put her egg inside of them.
Surrogate.
It's really not their baby. What was you saying up?
Con, I think isn't that like what they call a surrogate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or they will freeze their eggs when they're in their 20s. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about it. You said, Tazadoctrine, prove it. Okay, I will. Thumbs up as you come in the room. That's what you do. But before I get started, I want to remind you guys to come out to this up and coming webinar this weekend, June the 22nd and 23rd. Discharge of obligation, 1099 OID discharge, and the EFT discharge. If you haven't registered, go ahead and register now. It's going to be the 22nd and 23rd. Jason Wesley, you say you like 2-day webinars. Okay, stop gambling up everything and save something for the webinars, man. Something you can really count on. Gambling is wishy-washy. Sometimes you win, but when you lose big. So we're going to talk about the biological clock in women. Attraction has an expiration date. I'm going to tell you something. This is why men like younger women. And I'll go into that also. Now, research has taught me that in the mid-1980s, there was a group of scientists that first discovered that there was a natural decrease in fertility. I need you women to listen, because a lot of you women, you 38, 40, talking about you want, I want to wait until I was established to have a children. Well, it might just be too late. And when you're having children in that age bracket, you're increasing the potential of birth defects, like Down syndrome and so on and so forth. Doesn't mean in every case, but you're much more susceptible to it, especially after you hit 40. If you hit 40 and you're trying to still have children, come on, man. So in the mid-1980s, there was this group of scientists who first discovered that there was a natural decrease. I said natural decrease in fertility as women age. So the older you become, and I'm going to tell you, you know what? I know this is going to sound crazy, General Yashibin, but let me say this. This is not medical advice. I'm not a physician. If you need medical advice, seek yourself a physician and then be advised. This is based on my research from scientists and doctors. Huh? Okay, then. So
That ain't crazy.
Yeah, no, well, what I was going to say, you may think is crazy. My research shows that a woman is most fertile. She has more eggs when she's a fetus.
Oh, Con. Yeah.
When she's a fetus, she has about 5 million eggs. By the time that she's born, when she's born, that decreases to 1 or 2 million. So let's talk about this. This is what research has actually shown me, right? So by studying different populations, these scientists from as early back as the 1600s, now, mind you, the contraceptions was not an option back in the 1600s. So these scientists were able to show that fertility rates decline gradually as the age of the female partner between 20 and 35, and then fell briskly after 35 and 37. That's why now, so this is why when a woman goes to have a baby and she's 35, the doctor would tell her that she's a high-risk pregnancy. The reason she's telling her that is because her fertility declines tremendously after 35, and it really hits at 37. So now by age 45, nearly all women are no longer fertile. You know what I told you? I didn't say all, I said nearly all. By age 45, nearly all women are no longer fertile. So you got women that's, I'm waiting until I get in my 40s to have babies. Says by 45, nearly all women, and this is what, so they never understood when I say you have a biological clock. You hear that? That's your biological clock. You hear that, Jeff Atwater? That's your biological clock. And that joint has ticked up. So what happens, Yashabin, when they trying to get pregnant in these later age, they miscarriage the baby. And I'll go into the way that the scientists broke that down. It is the egg that causes them to miscarriage the baby. The egg is not strong enough.
Con.
You could just add water or whatever. You're not going to hold the baby. Bottom line. So even with the use of these aggressive fertility treatments, because a lot of them, they got to get fertility treatments, such as the IVF, the pregnancy rates decline after age 37 and drop dramatically when they hit 40. So at age 45, according to research, they say the chance of having a baby after IVF treatment is estimated to be about 5%.
Hey.
About 5%. I didn't, this is public information. I know I'm melanated. You don't want to believe me. You say I'm a male chauvinist. No, I speak the truth. Go and check it out for yourself. So these findings, to me, the authorized representative, beg the question, is the problem? Shalom, Nefertali. Shout out to the good brother Nefertali. Oh, they're going to learn today. So these findings, Nefertali begs the question, and share this with your female companions. They're talking about she's reserving herself. She hit 35. High-risk pregnancy. After her mid-20s, the fertility rate goes down. So this begs the question, is it the eggs, General Yashabin, or is it the uterus? Now, at first, the answer wasn't clear until they'd done more research. But after years of research, it's now known that eggs are the primary culprit. That's why a lot of these women in their late 30s, they have miscarriages. They can't hold the baby. They miscarriage the baby because their eggs are too weak. So it turns out that the egg drives most of the critical events that are necessary to produce the pregnancy. It's the egg. And this actually includes the ovulation, the fertilization, and the cell division, and the implantation. All of this is based around the egg. And all of this is a demanding process, which are more difficult for aging eggs to accomplish. So when I say aging eggs, the aging eggs is in the older women. She'll say, Yashabin, I'm just in my 30s. You're in danger, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You're in danger. You have aging eggs. So if any of these processes that I name go eerie, then pregnancy is not possible. Now, since the majority of women will continue to ovulate nearly until they reach menopause, in most cases, the problems start at the fertilization when the egg needs to get rid of half of its DNA to make room for the sperm DNA from the man. Scientists know what I'm talking about. They say, damn, that Negro got it. You damn right. Damn right. This is why you see these older men that want young women, huh? And I'm going to speak on that too. So when that fertilization starts, the egg needs to get rid of half of its DNA to make room for the sperm DNA that's carried by the male sperm. So any kind of error at this point leads to abnormal embryos, which are destined to fail. That's why they call it a miscarriage. Why? Because that leads to the lack of implantation. Or worse yet, implantation of the chromosomally abnormal embryo. So this is why older women are at a high risk for miscarriages and pregnancies with chromosomal abnormalities like Down syndrome. So the older a woman is, when she has a baby, she's more highly probable to have a child with Down syndrome. These women come on here, oh, well, yeah, nah, it's up to God. Baby, your body's not going against science.
Sure enough.
The matter is, you should have had a baby in your 20s.
Come on.
That's the healthiest time. In fact, the healthiest time, a lot of people, oh, well, he's a pedophile. No, the healthiest
16.
time is right after she started having her menstrual.
Come on, 16.
Mid-20s.
Come on.
Up until about 25. Anything after 25, you're putting aging eggs. Now, so an effective way to overcome the egg-related decline in the fertility is through these donor eggs, where she go and get a younger woman to implant the younger woman's egg in her. This you'll call that's not your baby. It was a younger woman's egg. It was implanted in you. Technology does that. So this is why when women hit menopause in their 40s and in their 50s, they're still able to have successful pregnancies and give birth to healthy babies. Why? Because she went and got a donor egg from a younger woman. But it's really not your baby. I need you to understand that. The baby is really the younger woman's baby. It wasn't your egg. It was her egg and the man's sperm. So now you got women, how Janet Jackson, she was, 50-something when she had that baby? She got a donor egg, huh? I know it hurts, man. So this is what's going on. So they get these donor eggs, and from the donor eggs, the IVF. So as women in their 30s and their 40s, but on the other hand, if a woman in her 40s uses her own eggs to produce an embryo that's placed in a younger woman's surrogate uterus, pregnancy rates are very, very low, and miscarriages occur, showing you that it's because your eggs are older. But if it's done in the reverse, the pregnancy is usually successful. And this is why men have a tendency to want younger women. See, men are attracted, and men will always be this way, man. Just because a man ages doesn't mean it's going to change, right? Men have stronger physical attractions, and that's the basics for their feelings. See, where women tend to have feelings for someone because of their personality or because of a man's characteristics. Physical attraction is still important to women, in some particular situations, but not as much as it is to men. See, men typically pursue women that they find more attractive. And unfortunately, let's face it, ladies, as people age, you don't age like wine. You age like bread. So when people age, they become less attracted by nature than they were when they were younger. This is why a man is always attracted to a younger woman. So just because men get older doesn't mean that he suddenly finds an older woman that's closer to his age more attractive than the younger woman. Nuh-uh, baby, that's not a man thing. Some of y'all Tazadoctrine speak for yourself. Man, shut your weak ass up, man. You soy boys, you just need to be quiet and learn. See, a man's taste and his preference will still remain the same as they always have been. And younger women are more physically appealing than the older woman. You see? I mean, we got some extreme exceptions like Jacob Wake Up. He preferred an older woman. I don't know if that was about a good brother. Shout out to Jacob Wake Up, man. Wake Up, Jacob, man. I don't know if that's about Jake.
God, shout out, wake up,
You mean that younger women do so because they're actually closer to his idea of physical beauty. Understand that. And in addition to that, on a psychological level, men like younger women because he feels like there's much more he could teach her. She's more susceptible to acknowledging him as a protector in the relationship. And that appeals to his sense of dominance. Because he could be looked to as an active protector. He's a primary protector, someone to look after the younger woman. So this is why men typically prefer younger women. Let me get back to your biological clock because it's still ticking. Now, a lot of women has actually heard me talk about this. But what exactly is a biological clock? See, the biological clock refers to the time span in which you're able to achieve pregnancy. To be blunt, that's what it is. So as I continue this lie, what you're going to learn, ladies and gents, because a lot of you men don't know this. When the biological clock starts ticking, I'm going to teach you when, according to science and doctors, when a woman's biological clock starts ticking. And at what age is a woman most fertile? I'm going to answer these questions. And is there a way to slow down or pause the biological clock? So those 3 questions I am going to answer for you. And then ladies, you in your 30s, and some of you know how many women I don't talk to out in their 30s and they don't have children? Now you're going to be a high-risk pregnancy. And by the time she decides to have one, sometimes she can't even have that baby. Her eggs is dried up. Her eggs are not strong enough. So she miscarriages. Biological clock has a time now. Has your biological clock timed out? Gully the Kid put something in the room about ovulate. We're talking about Gully the Kid. What about ovulation? Has her biological clock? Yeah, I've had a lot of women come on. I remember that one sister. She said, "Well, that's up to God."
Yeah. It's in the science too.
Yeah, it's in science. And the Bible and science coincide with each other for the most part until they try and trick.
I mean, that's why it makes sense that the women would find their husbands wives and give their husbands other wives and have children through other women, through their maidservants.
So to those of you sisters, ladies with thick scores, again, the biological clock is just simply a metaphor to represent the years which you are fertile and you can actually achieve natural conception. Natural conception. Not getting someone else's egg. But eventually time does run out. And natural conception is not biologically possible once you reach menopause. Do you understand? You still have some sisters, well, I go and pray to God and, all right. Okay, Sarah. Why force did Sarah laugh? Even Sarah knew that. She can't have a child of my old age. It's the Most High could work America. And Sarah was a righteous woman. She called Abraham Lord. These women don't call that man no Lord. They call him Nigger.
Sure enough.
And then they call the police. So how do you know, first question, how do you know if your biological clock is ticking? Now, I'm going to say this. There's no way to know exactly when your window of fertility will end. But your clock is always ticking, sis. See that right there? You say you're celibate? That's your biological clock. So, in addition, one way that you could kind of like measure it is that the age that your mother went into menopause could actually also give clues as to how long you have left, sis. When did your mom go into menopause? So at what age, the first question was, at what age does a woman's biological clock start ticking? When does her biological clock start ticking? See, every woman's, and I'm going to answer that, right? What's this? Every woman's biological clock starts ticking when she's still a fetus inside of the womb. And you can like it, understand it, believe it or not, but go and check it out for yourself. Believe it or not. So at 20 weeks, gestation, you had the highest number of eggs that you will ever have. And you were still a fetus. And that number was ranging from somewhere between 6 and 7 million eggs. And then from there, your number began to diminish. And by the time that you were born, you only had 1 to 2 million eggs left. You know what I told you? Now, once you reach puberty stage, your flower comes on, you don't know what to do. You wet as a thunderstorm. You don't know what to do. Come. Wet as a damn thunderstorm, huh? And you're just in heat. So once you reach puberty, your hormones will be fully mature. And so at this point, your ovaries will begin releasing a fully mature egg every month. That process right there is called ovulation. And if any of you women study that, that's your most fertile time right there. That's the ideal time to get pregnant. You could determine that by your menstrual cycle. So technically, the real ticking of your biological clock starts now. When you hit that puberty stage. So when is the peak of her fertility, General Yashipi? When is a woman most fertile? The average age that a woman is most fertile is when she is in her early to mid-20s. Her early to mid-20s. So that means between 20 and 25. Everything else is downhill. This is Tazadoctrine. What about men? Men got a biological clock. How come you ain't talking about that naive thing? How come there's not a biological clock for men? Now, fertility does decline in men and women, but the consequences are far more significant in women. There's been studies that they've done that looked at semen, and men's sperm perimeters are noted to decline when it's really affecting a man
fertility, it does not appear to be negatively impacted until that man is over 50 years old. You see that? Usually until the man is after 50. That's when it starts affecting. And they measure the semen parameters by the semen volume, the sperm concentration, the sperm motility, and the sperm orthogony. So with aging, sis, your biological clock is ticking. Were you experiencing any symptoms? No. You don't experience any symptoms whatsoever until you hit menopause. And I'm going to hit you with something. It's unfortunate, but some women experience premature ovarian insufficiency. That means she goes into menopause before the age 40. You know what I told you?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's called premature ovarian insufficiencies. And that woman will go into menopause before she reaches age 40. And what are some of the signs that show that may be occurring? She may have irregular periods. She will have hot flashes. She will have night sweats. And she will have a vaginal dryness. She got to go and get a lubricant. You trying to, you trying to get busy with her, man, feel like sandpaper. Got to go and get a lubricant. Feel like you sanding, you put your wood in there, man. It's like you rubbing your wood against some sandpaper. You have to tell her, no, that's all right. I'm good.
It's a bad day, man. Bad day.
And so women that have these issues, man, you should seek a consultation, man, with some sort of reproductive doctor, man. Now, can you improve your biological clock? No, there's no way to stop or pause your biological clock. Some women, like I said earlier, some women will elect to freeze their eggs. What do they call that? Alcohol kite, something like that.
Yeah, something weird. Yeah.
They freeze it. But even to do that, you still need to undergo that IVF cycle. So they freeze the eggs. So to maintain, being able to be fertile, you might want to maintain a healthy lifestyle. All you women that think it's cool to smoke, research has actually proven that women who smoke go into menopause on average 1 to 4 years sooner than women that don't smoke.
God.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's the statistic for all the women that eat a bunch of shellfish. That causes fibroids.
Yeah. And something else, Mitch, was something else. This don't mean all you women should go and get fat. But one of the things that I researched, it says women who are very thin or women who are very obese have lower fertility rates. So if you're too skinny and if you're obese, your fertility rates are lower. Now, this may not affect your fertility rate, but it will affect your menstrual cycle, the regularity of your menstrual cycle. And it affects your ability to conceive that way. And the next thing, if you have an excessive alcohol intake, that can hurt your fertility. So the average biological clock, shortly after puberty, it starts, pretty much around the age when you're very fertile, 16, and then it terminates when you reach menopause, usually between 45 and 47. So you got 50-year-old women on the internet talking about they sexing, they shaking their behind. They 50 years old and they shaking, they dancing to some song, knowing that her clock is out. Your time is up, man. Get out of the way. So I want to re-emphasize, ladies, pregnancy rates decline sharply in the 30s and 40s. The 30s and the early 40s. Now this age can fluctuate based on how you've been taking care of yourself and your culture. So when you see these women in their 40s and 50s getting pregnant, they're usually using donor eggs. If you women want to know why eggs impact the female fertility, is because the eggs in your body has actually been present in your body your entire life. And see, I'm gonna hit you with something. This is another thing that shows that we're different. Unlike men who produce new sperm, women don't produce new eggs. See, when a man ejaculates, his sperm builds back up. He produces new sperms. A man can produce new sperms, but women are born with a set of eggs, and that's it. You get no more. So with time, these eggs are more likely to decrease. They develop chromosomal abnormalities. Yeah. And so over time, these abnormalities will lead to poor egg quality, which actually decreases the chances of fertilization and implantation, while the increase of miscarriage. So to sum it up, ladies, age is associated with a decrease in your ovarian reverse quantity and quality. So some of you might have waited too late. You may need a fertility specialist. You're in your 30s and you want to get pregnant. What the hell you wait so long for? Huh? I don't get it, man. That's all I got. I'm going to drop the link in the room. See if anyone have anything to say. This is running on Rumble and on YouTube. See if anyone have anything to say. David, I know you can't speak on this topic. You know what happened to the good brother Kadar and Benayah? Benayah is listening in, boy. Trying to get his woman to listen to this. Links in the room. Anyone got anything they want to add, man? I know you hear the biological clocks ticking, man. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they need to just, finally accept the fact that we are different.
Huh.
We are different. And then, unfortunately, women are not biologically superior. So, I mean, just play your position. Accept your role. Knock it out. Still do good in your role. Now, who's in here today? You got Naftali, the authorized representative, Shaw, Someone named Adrienne.
Yeah. Link's in the room, man. Anyone got anything? Sean, he been in the back on a few, man. I haven't seen him on the call too much. I don't really come in, man, unless we say something about commerce. Or we see anything. Where that guy that call himself Justice is. David, Ricky type. Yeah.
Man, see David in a minute. Ricky been in color.
Yeah, remember he trying to come on here yesterday. He was drunk. I wouldn't let him come on. Yeah, he was drunk. I wanted to come on here cursing. I sliced him up yesterday.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, that's what he kept saying. Let me tell you something. Let me say something.
Yeah, any woman out there, y'all not eating legitimately clean, meaning like what's good for your body through, like through your own experience and like the real, not based on mainstream, it is going to be increasingly difficult for you to have a baby naturally. Mm. And all you women out there who are, if y'all don't have a good experience, like it takes a lot of work for y'all to like get off in bed and different stuff like that. You don't get very wet. That's a telltale sign that, if you don't have a child already, you're more than likely not going to have one. If you do, most often forbid, but it may not work out in your favor. It may, be born with some type of deficiency because you not being able to produce water in your uterus for intercourse is just a sign of that things aren't working right down there. So just stand by.
They have benign down there for an hour, man. They have benign down there for an hour, man. So, yo, man, there's nothing wrong with you. It's her.
Oh, wow.
Guy down there with a hard hat and a baby bed. Putting in work.
Oh, wait. I feel for you, man.
Miller King, what's going on with you, King? We talking that talk, Miller King. Come on and talk that talk. We got Adrian came on here, man. What's up, Adrian? Go ahead, Adrian. Adrian came in the room, Yashipin. What you got to say, Adrian? Go ahead.
Oh, hey. I just joined you, so I didn't know what was going on with your live stream tonight.
Oh, yeah, we was talking about the biological clock of females. Women that wait to have babies. It becomes a fertility problem.
I think one thing that you might have missed is that perimenopause it can last 10 or 15 years before a woman actually goes into menopause. And that's when usually actually it can be like in the mid 30s that the woman's hormones start fluctuating and getting funky, getting ready for menopause. Which in a healthy woman, that's what she wants because it makes that transition easier hormone-wise.
You understand what she's saying, Yashabin?
Yeah, she's saying
Can you hear me okay?
There are signs that's going on in a woman's hormones that happens up to 10 years before menopause actually kicks in to let the woman know that it's about to be her time.
But so I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. Remember the borderline, Yashabin? I literally went to a fertility clinic with her, and they counted her eggs, and they told her if you wanted to get pregnant, you need to get pregnant now. but she was unable. Yeah, she was unable to get pregnant. I mean, she had like the surgery. You know what I mean, because her tubes had been previously tied. They untied the tubes, and she still couldn't get pregnant.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but she had children prior to that, and so at that time, she was only 35, somewhere around there, 34, 35.
Sure, you lived that thing then.
Yeah. So yeah, I lived it. So I mean, what they, their theory was, if you have too much women that have their tubes tied, if they have too much scar tissue, that could become an issue.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. So all of these, like these contraception or birth control devices, it usually comes back and be problematic if they decide that they want to have another child. You see?
Yeah. I know birth control in itself causes issues. Because it messes with the woman's hormones and actually speeds up menopause, then slow it down.
Yeah. So I can't, I think part of the problem is that a lot of women, right, the older women that's already ready to fill, they're telling the younger women and they're telling their daughters, don't settle down too young, right? Which is a vast mistake. Because the healthiest time that she should actually have a baby is between, her early 20s and mid 20s. That's the healthiest baby that she's actually going to produce. And it would be much easier on her body at that time. But now, women are sacrificing that for their careers. And so now when they get older, they're coming back and say, oh, I'm ready to settle down. But now she's considered a high-risk pregnancy by the time she hit 35. You're discovering that a lot of women, they're almost pushing their early 40s and they're still not married. Because they sacrificed that, having a child and marriage for their careers.
Trying to take on that masculine role because they misguided by the older women and by some fathers.
But that's the narrative. Like I have a book, I have both of Pat Buchanan books, right? Like when he came out with Death of the West, he said that every nation in Europe was below zero population growth because a lot of the women was decided not to get pregnant. But he said that was hurting them, right? So he had predicted by, within 40 years, whites are going to be like a minority in the United States. And then he came out with a second book. What was it called? Death of a Nation or something like that. I got both of the books somewhere, man. But now when he came back with that, he said all nations in Europe are below zero population growth. So, and it's because of the woman deciding not to, she's sacrificing having children for her career. But it turns out that it's becoming a factor in European nations. Like every single European nation now is below zero population growth. And if people don't understand what that means, that means that there's more older Europeans in existence than there is younger ones. Like they're not reproducing as they should. So the population, is declining. And then over the next 30 years or so, they say that, they're going to be a minority. This is what social scientists are saying. What's that other book called, man? Death of the West. Well, he said some, interesting stuff in that book. I'm like, wow. I made a video about it, but they flagged it. They don't want it out there. Where's that book? Yeah, and that second one was called The Death of a Superpower. That's what it was called. I had that, man.
Yeah, this
is really going on, man.
Yeah, this whole thing turned full circle now. I've seen quite a few, not a lot, but a few of confessions, women that hit the wall, saying that they wish they would have done things differently.
Yeah. Oh, that is what it's called. Suicide of a Superpower. Pat Buchanan. That was the second one that he did.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot of people don't agree with his views, but you speak a lot of truth right there. That right there. I thought I had that book. I knew I had the Depth of the West. But in that Suicide of the Superpower, he's going in. He came back. Oh yeah, here's the Depth of the West right here. I had that Suicide of the Superpower. This joint right here. This is the first one that I read. This is the first one that he had put out there.
Okay.
Good book, man. Good book. But that other one was more recent. When he came out with this. And this one, I think he was saying Albania was the only European nation that hadn't that wasn't below zero population growth. So, where the woman is saying, no, I have my rights, I could do as I please, it's really affected, her nation now, not wanting to get pregnant. And so now other women are, they taking on that same paradigm. But, the so-called Hispanic community is having more babies than anyone right now. In America, that is. Understand? Come on, Tazadoctrine. This is Tazadoctrine. That's how we want it. I'm gonna order it right now. That book, man. That book in my collection, man. And what was you gonna say, Aunt?
The woman hitting the wall, they're realizing that being alone and having things is not fulfilling at all, especially at the older age.
I think also the economic reasons. A lot of I've read that there's a lot of couples that are deciding not to have kids because of economic reasons, which I kind of agree with you, yeah, that once they get older, they're probably gonna realize like, yeah, there's no one here to come visit and stuff.
Yeah, I think the system pushes that paradigm, right? I think they create a fear factor to, hey, well, you can't afford this baby, don't have one. You know? Yeah. And so people then they end up regretting it. You get a lot of people, it says that loneliness is one of the worst ways to die. Dying lonely.
Yeah. And they've done some studies in like the nursing homes, and they brought even just bringing like baby dolls in is like really therapeutic for those older people.
Wow.
And it's beneficial too, like with chicken pox. It used to be, the little kids would get the chicken pox and they go to grandma and grandpa's, and then that was like a booster, and it would prevent the elders from getting shingles.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I just believe that people shouldn't allow this whole economical thing to like scare them and not, reproducing, because I believe that was all created to control people.
Yeah, I agree. And it's if you were with all the women that are in the workforce right now, if you were to take them out, the companies would have to do a lot of restructuring. But
yeah.
I always wonder, I don't know if you've thought about this. There's this thing, and it's these people, they say that they can't like hear themselves think in their head. Like, if you're reading a book, like I can hear myself reading it in my head. They say they can't do that, or they can't visualize stuff in their mind. And I've wondered, are those the ones that were born through in vitro fertilization, or like, surrogacy?
Oh, that is interesting. But what is your experience, Adrian? Have you already started having having offspring?
Well, I'm 40 now, so yeah, I've had 3 children. My grandmother had like 12 children, and I think she must have had her youngest when she was older. Like, I guess when women are in their later 30s into their 40s, it's considered like a geriatric pregnancy.
Mm.
Um,
Wow.
and just like Todd Doc said, yeah, it's the quality gets degraded, and so actually her youngest has for Pete's sake, Down syndrome. She ended up with Down syndrome, so yeah, it can cause a lot of issues.
Gotcha. So all of your offspring are adults now.
My oldest just turned 18 this past year, so yeah. And then my youngest is 6, so kind of like right on the cutoff there.
So that means that you were about 38, 37. How did that process go for you at that time with your youngest?
Yeah, I was about 33, 34.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was healthy, so I always kind of gain a lot of weight when I've been pregnant, but afterwards, I've been having a hard time losing the weight
How many pounds
afterwards.
did you
Like,
gain? How many pounds did you gain?
oh, let's see.
It's not recommended gain more than 25.
Yeah, I know. I gained quite a bit more than that. I think I was around one. I must have gained like around 40, 45
Yeah,
pounds.
yeah. I hate to say it. Most European women don't gain a lot of weight when they get pregnant because they're usually still active and they go to the gym and they're working out and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, a lot of European women stay active while they're pregnant.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and then right after the pregnancy, you see them, when they're able, like running with the baby stroller on to get the weight off.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I don't
good.
know. I started, I think it was probably pretty soon afterwards, after I had him. And like you said about the smoking is for real, because I thank God I quit, but I was smoking then, like afterwards, and I started going into perimenopause. Like I was getting hot flashes occasionally and stuff. So yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So y'all heard it, audience. That's the thing to avoid. Definitely avoid smoking. If you want to have healthy children, definitely have it before the ages of, before you get to your 30s, and stay active.
And iodine supplementation, and then there's another doctor. He recommends high doses of vitamin C while a woman's pregnant because we can't produce our own vitamin C. And when you look at nature, like cows and stuff, like it's no big deal when it's just boop, they just pop the baby out and they're good. It's so there's a lot of nutrition in there too.
Yeah, we as I guess they refer to them as humans. Human children are some of the most helpless and take the longest to be able to really provide for themselves and go on their own. In the animal kingdom, that happens pretty swiftly.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is the way that pregnancy and childbirth is treated in Western countries. Like America is notoriously bad for their treatment. and especially in the Black community, have very a lot of issues surrounding pregnancy and childbirth and miscarriages, or what's the word? Like stillbirth. Um, and a lot of it, like the doctors here are they're quick to do a C-section, but what they don't tell you is all the stuff that they do when they give you the C-section. Like they give a woman morphine. They give her that Pitocin stuff that's supposed to stop the contractions, and that's dangerous. Just over interventionalism into the childbirth and the stress, all that stress that the doctors place upon the mother, it can actually stop her from progressing in childbirth.
Yeah. Even some women that's having a natural birth, sometimes they still get that medication for the pain.
Yeah. So my first was a C-section, and then my second two were home births and all natural, no medications or anything. And I had to say, a lot of women, first-time mothers, are really freaked out about the pain and stuff. Our bodies are created to do this. Your body knows. It's a natural process, and it kicks in when it happens. And it's natural childbirth is one of the most empowering things for a woman to go through.
Lydia Jones, come on the call. You see what Lydia put there, Yashabi?
Khan, yeah, I just read that.
Most likely those women are getting donors. There are some cases that women can have babies in their older ages, but like I said, it becomes more of a high risk for some sort of birth defect. Like Janet Jackson, I'll never believe, was she like 50 when she had that baby?
Mm-hmm.
She definitely had a donor, man.
Yeah, you have to really take extremely good care of yourself, but that doesn't really lower the risk. You still have eggs that are over 50 years old. A woman is born with all the eggs that she is going to carry for the rest of her life at birth, and they just decrease from there. So if you count the years of you being ran through by different males, if you count the abuse of the type of foods and or substances that that you basically do, the type of work that you decide to do, women who go into like high stress environments to join the military and like overexert themselves physically, and they're really not built for that. That prevents them from having healthy pregnancies, or even getting pregnant at all. It puts them in a hormone imbalance. You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff, you adding it up, I mean that's y'all working against yourselves in that regard. So all we're just doing is bringing it out.
Yeah, and now the new things is many of them end up with fibroids, and what they could do, they could actually block the sperm from actually getting to the egg.
Con.
Yeah.
And if they get to the egg, that is an extremely difficult pregnancy. Women with uterine fibroids, they have painful, some of the worst menstrual cycles ever.
Yeah, they bleed a lot. They bleed irregularly.
Yeah, it's bad. It is really bad. And then intercourse is just as bad. It's like rolling the dice. That's a very miserable life. But they love their fish, love their crab and stuff. Y'all might want to put that stuff down.
Yeah, can you talk more about that? I'm very interested. I never heard that about the shellfish and the fibroids.
Oh yeah, there's a direct correlation between the shellfish and uterine fibroids, um, but any seafood for that matter, because the contamination of the amount of heavy metals that are in it is really not made for us. You know, those foods are, what's written in the Bible is called, it's unclean. Shellfish, the majority of them, they're bottom feeders. They don't go hunting for their food. They take whatever is dead on the bottom, and at the very bottom and whatnot. And those heavy metals that's built up into your body, they prevent certain types of biological functions from happening on a regular basis. And then that's when you get the disease and the irregularities of, fibroids in your uterus. They manifest themselves differently. But yeah, you can definitely look it up. It's definitely worth it.
So those uterine fibroids, what happens is they grow around the woman's womb. A lot of people don't know that the womb is also referred to as a uterus. That's the same thing. And so a normal woman's uterus is generally about, it's the pear-shaped thing that's usually about the size of a lemon. But these uterine fibroids, they could grow like in the shape of a noodle, or they could grow like in the clusters of noodles. And sometimes those things could be from the size of like 1 millimeter all the way up to 20 centimeters. They've literally found fibroids in women the sizes of a watermelon. Now, can you imagine that, man?
That thing is destroyed at
The
that
size
point.
of a watermelon, man.
It's crazy.
They could get as big as the size of a watermelon. But the majority of women, the women that's getting these things in their 30s is very unusual, because the majority of women don't get their uterine fibroids until around age 50.
Oh, wow.
They usually develop in the main cavity of the uterus.
I can only imagine the pain from that. I know I started taking iodine, like Lugol's iodine, because it actually helps with fibrous tissues. It actually breaks that up. I don't know but the iodine does a lot for the body, but we
Yes.
actually don't get enough. And then we have that if you look at the periodic table, they're all in this halogens group. So you have chlorine and fluoride are included in there. And they've been fluoridating the heck out of Americans, and then you got chlorine everywhere, and the other one is, I think it's bromine or bromide, and they have been putting that into the bread. So those all block and can disperse or prevent your body from getting the iodine that it needs, and it gets replaced with those.
Yeah, so what iodine does, or part that I know, is that iodine does help the liver detox and prevents fat from accumulating around the liver. And the liver houses the majority of like the hormonal functions that signal for different things to go down in your body. So yeah, it's I can see how how that would make sense. But just in case you didn't know, heavy metals that in its non-biological form hardens the liver. So it does. So thinking about how iodine may help with that, it does make sense to me that it would help your body get rid of those fibroids.
Let me show you guys a picture. This is probably gonna gross you out. This is a fibroid they took out of a lady, man. This is gross. This is how dangerous this thing could be, man. Let's see. Right here. Look at that. That right there.
That's a fibroid?
Yeah.
Where did they pull that from? Oh, no way.
Oh, I thought that was a cyst.
Nah, that was a fibroid.
Oh.
That is crazy. Ain't no way. They pulled that out of a woman?
I saw a cyst they pulled out of this one lady, and it was like, oh my God. It was bigger than a basketball. It was like 2 basketballs together.
It's not a cyst, it's a fibroid. Hold on, let's see if I pull that up again. Right there. Look at that. See?
That is crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. So they could get the size of a watermelon. Can you imagine that being in her, man?
What is that?
That's what happens if they go untreated. Can you imagine that? So, I could see why they be in so much pain. That's inside of you. I don't even see how a man would actually, I couldn't. Some of that stuff gets really gross, man, when you see some of the photos of it. Look at that right there. This lady has 3. This is like a diagram of it. There's 3 right there. Those are 3 different fibroids right there.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Yeah.
Man, I better.
I think there's. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I better fix y'all diets and fast and pray. That is terrible.
So this is why some of them that have it, they have like really, stomachs look bloated. Yeah, man, that right there, man. Wow. You imagine that? I should be, man. She told you have fibroids now. I'm good. Just the thought of that. Can't imagine it, man.
Yeah, that's an undertaking I am not willing to move forward on at all. Yeah, you have to fix that.
You see this? You see this? See this right here? See this woman right here, the Negro woman that came on? And men need cleansing too. This is why a lot of women are in the predicament they're in, right?
Always somebody.
I'm trying to teach you something. Most women never want to assume responsibility or accountability. This is a problem. And this is why so many can't be reached and so many are miserable and dealing with anger issues. This woman right here, that kind of woman right there. They can't accept anything, and this is why they never change, and this is why they end up alone and bitter. I can guarantee you, this woman right here, she has anger issues. She's alone. She probably get penis appointments, but she's not married. I guarantee it. I guarantee it, And she probably got 1 or 2 children by a couple different men. Just her response, the nature of that. Now, we're not talking about men. We're talking about issues, with women in late pregnancies and so on and so forth. And now we got the fibroids, but she comes in and say men have, trying to change the narrative. It never fails, man. And this is primarily where there's so many damn angry, bitter, so-called black women. She can't close her mouth, man. So she's not receptive to learning. And this is why more so than any other woman on the planet, the so-called black woman is most rejected. You're most rejected because you can't contain your mouth. Never fails, man. Ever. I guarantee you're not married. I guarantee it. And if she's married, a woman like that, she could only marry a man that's weak, and a man that's going to actually allow the woman to dominate him. A real man would never get involved with some woman like this. Just that energy that she came in with. Men have issues too. Men need cleansing too. Men and women are built totally different. Men have things like prostate cancer and things, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about other issues. But she wants to change the narrative. So I'm good on that, man. Eve, man. Wow. She's gone, huh? She's done. And I can guarantee you, this woman is not married. Just a delivery. You will have better things to do at your time and to come in like that. I don't care how long you've been watching me. I don't care if you've been watching me for 100 years. Your energy is off. We're not talking about men. And it's not an isolated incident. What is it, Yashabin, with women not want to be accountable? Well, things don't change until people start being accountable for their actions. But we can't change a problem. We can't fix a problem until we admit that there is a problem. And this fibroids thing is taking off because there's women in their 30s that have that. These women got issues, man. They won't assume accountability. And you notice if you listen to the typical female, if she was in a relationship, she'll tell you all of the things that the man did wrong. And when you ask her, what did you do wrong? Well, I did it because no accountability. Wow. Wow. Can't call it Yashabin, man. That thing right there, man. Wow.
I hate that.
To men.
Hate
the
it.
whole dialogue, we had Adrian on here. She talking civilized. With the other sister in the room talking civilized. Here comes the so-called black woman with anger issues. And this is coming from my childhood, huh? This right here is an abandonment issue. Women that have these kind of anger issues, it generally stems from your childhood because you was not hugged and cared for by one or both parents when you needed it. So you grow up angry and bitter. And you take this toxicity into your relationships, and then you convince other people, I wasn't like this until I met you. BS. It's BS.
Come on.
Go and get some counseling, man. Because it's not my responsibility to fix you, not my responsibility to fix you, nor is it Yashabin's. But something's going on there. That argue, this anger, man. I can't tell everybody. I don't see how dudes. I can't have that energy around me, man. Just angry, man. You want people around you that have good energy, man. It's gonna laugh with you, you know. That can you imagine living with a woman like that? Well, men got power too. We talking about this. Men needs cleansing too. We're constructed totally different inside.
Exactly.
Totally different. But don't you know the borderline told me when she couldn't get pregnant, maybe you should go and get your sperm checked. I said, you kidding me? That's so fertile I could breathe on a woman and she gets pregnant. No accountability, man. You literally said that,
Oh man, I can only imagine. Oh my word.
Then when the lady, the doctor told her, she said, ma'am, if you want to get pregnant, it needs to happen now because your eggs are almost depleted. What assumptions am I doing? She said, my assumption, you came in the room bringing up a total different subject matter. We're talking about a particular subject. You came in, men got problems, because you don't want focus. You don't even want to discuss issues involving women. And that's coming from somewhere deep down within. People that do that type of thing is hiding behind something. You're hiding behind something. Something's bothering you internally, and you need to go and deal with that. You need to heal yourself. People that always want to shift blame, deal with yourself. Deal with your internal issues, then everything externally would fix itself once you fix yourself internally. Because that's what the problem's stemming from. This is why we come in here and talk about men that, oh, yeah, God, yeah, you're right. We talk about women. Well, why are you saying this? You're a misogynist. You're chauvinist. Nope, just a truth speaker. That's it. That's all.
Man, I'm telling you, man. It's all
the stone hitter, y'all should be. Remember,
yeah.
man, if there's a pack of dogs and you throw a rock, the only dog that's going to scream out is the one that got hit with that stone. That's a fact. That stone hit her up. Yeah. It's something that we're saying that applies to her, and this is why she tried to change the focus to men have issues also.
Yeah, I wonder, was it the snow crab legs, king crab legs?
Fibroids, might be the fibroids. I'm telling you, there's a high percentage of younger women that have those now. And basically coming from having sex with all these different kind of men, man, and not know how to clean themselves out properly.
Calm.
Eating all this bad food. Don't you know that what was it? Would they consider a delicacy now? Lobster that was considered to be trash food. Not really look at it as like is a delicacy. That was considered to be trash that you throw away. Now you got women. Oh, we going to Red Lobster.
Man, forget that. Can never rock with that, man. I can count on one hand how many times I've had shellfish. It never appealed to me. Never appealed to me, and I thank the Most High for it. And but like we were saying, in discussion that we were having with Adrian, it is worth looking into if you want to have children. There are things that, by and large, the majority of women, for whatever reason, upbringing, the friends you keep, social media, family, whatever the case is, there are things that females do that go against their fertility, and that as their biological clock is running out, that's being stacked against them. We're putting out information so that way you guys can prevent that, so you guys can be enlightened and perhaps fix it.
I'm gonna show you I'm not making that up. I want them to see for themselves that lobster was considered to be a trash food, and it was even illegal to feed it to the prisoners. Now they make it a delicacy. Look at this. One of life's greatest pleasures, right? But yes, lobster was considered to be, trash. Lobsters are ugly bottom feeders. Where is it? Right here, right here. The fishermen would actually catch them and throw them back out when they caught them to their nets. The British POWs during the Revolutionary War revolted over being served too much of the stuff. They didn't even want to eat it. Some states implemented laws against serving prisoners lobsters more than 3 times per week. And the creatures, not just their shells, were even grounded up and used as fertilization. Look at that, man.
Wow.
See that? Now it's considered to be a delicacy. You see how they just, and they know it's not healthy for you. They're bottom feeders, man. They use to clean up the dead things in the ocean.
Exactly. That's the equivalent of us using like isopods and different things to create fertilizer to make land fertile to actually grow something in. That's not something you eat. You use that for the stuff to process things. You know what I'm saying? Turn something to something else. That's not made for our consumption at all.
Come. Yeah, I mean, and when you're eating it, they're eating the veins and all of that. They're eating the defecation and all of that.
Yeah, when they consume shrimp and all that, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they're eating the defecation in the thing, man. They steam the whole thing when they eat the crabs.
Yep.
Is that linked to sorry?
What was that, Adrian?
Is that linked to PCOS as well? The shellfish?
Yeah, we're definitely not supposed to eat that stuff, man.
I mean, speaking of unclean things, I mean, we should be making our women or households should be making their own food because of all the chemicals and like they're just poisoning us. I mean, who knows what they're putting in all that?
Yep. But that's the old way of doing things. Now everyone has a microwave diet. They give them a TV dinner.
Even microwaves.
Steak that's frozen. Put it in the microwave for 3 minutes and he's good.
Nah. Even microwaves are used in the medical field to change the molecular structure, break down cell walls, so that way they can study, the effects of how the inner workings of biological animals work at a molecular level. So you use a microwave, you're changing the biological structure of your food, even though the physical properties may look the same. You're killing it. If there's any nutrition in there, you're killing it with a microwave. You might as well just go ahead and throw it in the oven. It'll take the same amount of time. Put it on broil. As soon as it heats up, turn it down to 300 or whatever, or between 200 and 250. Walk away, come back, do something, come back. You'll be all right.
Tastes better in the oven anyways, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you
I have to tell you, I've been
putting it in the oven. Totally different.
And homemade versus something already prepared or eating out, it's completely different as well. It's so much better homemade.
Yep.
Yeah, I got rid of that
microwave. Healthier.
Oh, you don't even use that at all, Yashipi?
No, I got rid of my microwave back in 2010, and I have not bought another one since. Yeah. Not at all.
Do you use one of those like convection oven things that sits on the counter? Or just a regular oven?
I just use a regular oven. I just found out I used to, well, we kind of still do a little bit, but I just found out some information about air fryers. But the like a toaster oven, I like using those as well for something, really quick.
Yeah, it takes like I think when you heat up food in the oven, you're supposed to set it like around 350. And it takes like about half an hour or something, but
That's
at least you're not radiating.
If it's frozen. No, that's only if it's frozen. If you get something out the refrigerator, well, forgive me, I take that back. When you're eating animal products, leave that in there for about 30 minutes. But for your vegetables and your fruits and your cakes and your breads, it shouldn't take that long at 350. You'll end up burning it. You'll end up cooking it again.
Yeah, I think that's probably something women can do if they're older to improve their nutrition is to just get yourself a deep freezer and meal prep.
Yeah. I don't know that they're taught to do that anymore. Listen up, young ones.
You better test her before you bless her.
David, you're missing a pretty good core here, brother. You work tomorrow, David?
Oh, yeah, I might go in. I don't know. It's I don't want to sit around and don't do anything. So I might go in tomorrow. You guys online? Because I didn't get no notice.
Yeah, we've been on almost 2 hours. I didn't realize it was this late. It's after 11.
No, right?
You never get notices, David. I don't think they send notices out for this channel anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they do. Because I'm sitting there watching YouTube. And I just saw you came on.
But you should have received the text message. I sent that to you. The link in text.
Let me see.
But when you have that blue ribbon tied around the old oak tree, it's hard to see the notices.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did. I got it at 9:08.
Yeah. That was 2 hours ago, David.
Yeah, I don't really do much work with my phone. It just pretty much tells me every time I wake up. Pretty much that's it. Maybe I'll call my granddaughter or something.
All right, yeah, Shabim, I think it's time to shut this down. We appreciate you for coming on, Adrian. I'm going to shut this down. It's at the 11.
Come on.
Thanks for having me.
Everybody.